Frozen in this moment, the last, and I know it. Think about the winners with hands with the coldest. Think about handout, shit, it's still growing. Think about the world, how we didn't even notice.
Everybody, welcome. How you doing? How's it been? Now, it is not our normal podcast night. Now, of course, we don't have a normal podcast guest either. We have the absolutely amazing, the wonderful Claire Hayden with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for tuning your way. And like always, guys, this is West Cork, so there could be possibles that everything just goes boom at any stage of the night, which normally happens to us on a quite a regular basis. If you follow our podcast, things normally go pretty bad, pretty quick. So apologies if people can hear us. If you can hear us, give us a thumbs up out there. If you want us to be a little bit louder, you can give us a thumbs up as well. This is how this thing works. I talk to you, you guys talk to the guest, and I'm somewhere in the middle circling around like an idiot. But that's okay. So, how is everybody doing? We'd like to welcome you to the Cabin Fever podcast. We got to do a shout out to our sponsors. We got to do a big shout out to Kelly and Co. We're back open again after all the big lockdowns. They got everything covered: flooring, mattresses, all the stuff you all know at this stage where Kelly's is out in Dunveteran in the Bantry Business Park. So go out and say hello to the lads. You might even see me floating around the place trying to get paid for doing absolutely nothing. That's normally what I do. We got to do a shout out to the new and improved Sentra. Do you know that old Phillies Sentra? Yeah, go check it out. It's been brand new refurbished. It's got loads of new things there. It even has a chipper inside there, traditional Irish chipper. So check it out. Go in and say hello to everybody inside there. And of course, we got to say to our big friends in Simply Suits up in Cork, ladies, if you want to get your fella all done up for Christmas, go to Andrew. Tell him I sent you. He'll look after you. He'll make all the fellas look like a shiny new penny. I promise you. Now, in the fear of listening and talking to me too much, and I'm probably sick shit of listening to me already, I am going to see if this works. So I will get the beautiful Claire with me now in just a second. If I click this button, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it works this week. Are we there? Claire, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. You can hear me and I can hear you?
I know that's good. So we're on a good start anyway.
We're on a good start. Everything, when it
Yeah.
works, it's a great start. That's always good when it works. It's modern technology in with West Cork broadband. Either one doesn't go
I
great, to
know.
be fair. But we're getting
Gremlins.
there. How's things? How are you?
Good. Yeah, doing good. I suppose it's been a strange old year, but thank you for having me on. And I was
Oh,
listening to some of your podcasts there the last few weeks, so they were great. Really good. So
sure. Look, I'm on, like I say on every other podcast, I'm an idiot with a mouthpiece, and I'm just trying to say hello to everybody I can because it's lonely down here in the basement.
of course, yeah. No, it looks great there. Really good.
Well, it's amazing what you can do with a charity shop curtain and a few
Yeah.
screws. That's basically it. That's how things work around here. I was going to actually call this the broke ass podcast because I was going to put no money into it. I was going to see how far you'd get along with just using the stuff you had around the house, and
Yeah.
yeah, we managed to get quite a bit there. To be fair to it, so
No,
we're
it
getting
looks
there.
great.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We got loads of
That's
people
it.
checking in, saying hello. We managed to get the comments working, guys. As I said, we say hello to us. We got Jammarie saying hello. We've got Bernie. Audrey's checking us out. Sharon, hello.
Mm.
Louise. Caffrey's checking us in. Sharon O'Neill is checking. Anita
Hi
O'Leary's checking
everyone.
in. Colette Harrington is checking in. And
Oh,
even
I just did the Nana wave. I do that all the time. I
the
give a
real
little wave.
awkward hi,
Yeah,
Granny.
yeah, the awkward Irish hi like, thing.
The
Um,
real, oh,
but
you
hi
what?
everyone. Anyway, it's great.
Yeah, yeah. I better hide my face type wave is
I
the
know. Yeah, I was half contemplating like putting on the mask, hiding away for a while.
not a
Um,
chance. You're well used to this, to be fair. You've done way more
oh God, I
complicated.
was only no. Do you know what it is? It's like when you know something's live as well. Like no matter what, you just get nervous. Like it's totally different to having a phone call or a chat with someone. Like obviously it's a chat, but you
But
just be
you've sung
nervous.
in
I
front
think the
of
live
loads of
thing.
people. You've sung in front of hundreds of people. You're only talking to this
See,
idiot. So that
singing is kind of comfortable because you just have your lyrics, you go up, you sing your song, and then you can't say anything wrong.
you can forget
you
the
know?
lyrics.
Yeah, yeah, that's worse. I'd make them up probably on the spot or do something anyway.
Do it work.
Come out of
That's
it.
why I could never be a singer. There's too much to remember. Like I only
Oh
have like
God.
four buttons in front of me, and I always manage to make a mess of that most of the times anyway. So could you imagine I have to learn like a 4 minute song? I would literally be I'd be
Yeah, it's
concentrating
amazing
on
though how much you actually zone out, like when you go up singing at anything where like whether there's 5 people or a few
yeah.
hundred people or whatever, you just get up and you're just in the moment, and you feel like we this is our first year that we haven't had the concert with
Yeah.
that we do every year down in St. Brendan. So it's strange to not be doing that. And then of course Glengarriff Panto will be very much missed this year, even though they are doing something really special this year. So keep an eye on their Facebook page.
Well, of course.
So this time of year would generally have been a really busy time for me. But sometimes it's nice just to not be so busy, and I think everyone is feeling that this year, to kind of just reset and just take it a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. Just sort of check yourself, really. That's like, do you know what I
Of
mean? Like
course,
everybody was rushing so fast. We had
that
so
was
many
it.
plates in the air. And like, do you know, at least with COVID now, we've all had a managed time to sort of go, take a deep breath and sort of go, well,
Yeah,
I want this in my life again, or I don't want this in my life, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. We
that's
just got
it.
managed to take check of things, and that's really all it was,
Yeah,
really. And
and
it
I
was a
don't.
great.
I think most people, it was, and most people don't want to go back to being that busy again.
Yeah,
Like obviously, like with my two kids, you'd be, with that, with any, and you'd be running and racing to different things.
yeah,
And when
yeah.
everything stopped for a while, you kind of realize, Jesus, lads, we were really busy. Like there was
Yeah,
something most evenings.
busy fools.
So it's
That
good.
we were trying to check.
That's it.
You know, yeah, it's bonkers. And
Yeah.
actually, do
But
you know
I
what?
wonder when
I
it's all over, will we go back to being busy again without even realizing it?
I don't know. I think the wheels are slowly turning again to sort of get to that absolute
Yeah.
bonkers state where it's like no time. Like the thing about COVID is, I think it gave everybody time for themselves to literally
Hmm.
just like sit down and take it, like really take count of what they're doing in their lives. Well, I did it. I don't know whether anybody else listening out there did,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it definitely gave me a small bit of sort of mind space to sort of sit down and go, well, Terence, you know what? You don't need to do that anymore, or Terence, stop acting the Egypt this way, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's everybody's just takes a small time just to sort of check themselves and make sure that
That's
a
it.
one the person is okay,
Simplified.
and
Everything just
we
got
can sort of
simplified.
yeah, it's not, everything can be black and white. You know what I mean? I hate that gray
Hmm.
area. I just like black and white. Gray
Yeah.
confuses
Yeah.
me. I like if you try to bring anything into that's what not here, I just my mind absolutely
Yeah.
explodes. I was actually always thinking to
Yeah.
have a conversation with you about this now, right? This is something that people outside won't get, right?
Okay. Oh
It's
God, what
very
is that?
funny because we were talking. It's not complicated. It's about singing, I
Yeah.
promise.
Oh thank
It's
God. It's not a geography
it's
question.
that's
Yeah.
for the quiz later. I told you that they're all
Oh
for
my
the
God,
quiz
no
later.
quiz. I'll fail miserably. Honestly, ask any of my secondary school teachers. It won't go well.
Yeah, secondary school to me was just it was gone too. I never
Oh God.
school wasn't much for me, to be fair. But it's funny,
Yeah.
like you were saying there, when you get up to sing, it doesn't matter. Like you just you feel that's your zone, and it's really weird. People always
Yeah.
ask me, how do you get up there? Like I act the clown 90% of my life all the time, and I have no problem getting in front of to do the Macarena in front of a full wedding, or even like I've done the Macarena at the start of the women's marathon in Cork. I've done it in the
Yeah.
Bay Run. Like you just feel like no one's watching you, even though everyone's going,
You
Jesus, look
do.
at your man. He's not Egypt, like, you know what I mean? But you just find that comfort spot, you really do. And
Yeah, you
I've
do.
never been more nervous in my whole entire life until I start doing them kiddies disco at the start of lockdown. When it was just a camera in front
Yeah.
of me, I was petrified.
It's the camera thing, you
Absolutely.
see. You can be as relaxed as anything, and then I think once a camera comes into it, for me anyway, that's where I get very self. And I think a lot of people are probably the same. Like I become
Yeah.
a mumbling fool. Like I'd be like I just get nervous, and then I'd be fine in a few minutes into it. But it's just once I don't know, is it the Irish in us as well? Like
Yeah. I
where
think
once there's a camera, you're like, oh Jesus, I could say something wrong, or I'm gonna, and you're nervous that you're not gonna. I don't know. I think I suppose it is and then the live thing made me extra nervous. So it's just yeah, it is. It's different, but I suppose like when you're in your comfort zone for me, even though you get good nerves with singing, um,
yeah.
like I definitely over the years have probably got a bit more comfortable in myself too compared to when I first started singing at things. You'd be very self-conscious, but if when you get a bit old,
But
now
how
not
did that
very old, but
start?
like um
How did the singing start?
I
How did you get
I
involved in that? Because you've different level singing now. We're not just singing after a wedding type, oh, the fields of Athenry type. You're up there with the professional singers now at this stage.
Oh
Like,
God, I don't know. So when I was little, I just loved singing. Do you remember when the charts used to come on and those old video or record, where you have to press record and was it record and pause
and
at the
play.
exact same time or play,
No,
sorry, to
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I used to. That's how I learned songs. So like I'd wait for the song I was listening to come on, learn it, sing it. Like when I was younger, much younger, and I didn't go for singing
Yeah,
lessons or anything till much later with Sally Ann Fitzgerald, who was
mhm,
amazing, and I just loved,
she's amazing. Mhm.
yeah, and the work that she had done. I suppose I got involved in that then in the singing with the kids. And I started just doing more. So if I was asked to do something, I'd be delighted to, with regard to like going singing at things. So yeah, I suppose I always loved it. Like from when I was a little girl, I was, always singing. So,
Yes.
but yeah, because someone asked me recently, like, oh, did you go for training when you were a little girl? Like, sure, I didn't. I'd be singing up the road to school. That was about as far as it went, you know. um, so, but I think it is great nowadays that like there is, if a child is interested in something, there is so much open to them that they can get involved in. But for me, it was just sitting at home, learning the words off a recording and singing away. And it was just a really nice way to, for me, it was something I really enjoyed and something I still really enjoy.
Good.
And it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and I think more than anything for people that it would have been their living at the moment, especially this year, I really feel for them because
Yes.
I can imagine people that would be out singing their the amazing musicians that are around Bantry and Glengarriff and places that were out maybe 4 or 5 nights a week must be
Mhm.
very hard. You kind of lose where you are a bit. So
Yeah,
you'd really feel it for them because the music is really missed. And a lot of
yeah,
my friends, we've had the conversations of, geez, wouldn't you love to be somewhere now with a really good band on,
mm,
or music because it brings a whole other feel to a night out. Music
it
does.
does. It does. Do you remember having to wait though for the DJ to shut up before you could press play and record? When you'd have this,
Yeah,
when you have
always
tapes,
the
and he'd be
perfect
like,
moment.
and then he
Yeah,
would cut in. He'd either cut in or the news would come on just before the song, and you'd
I
have
know.
half the song there, and then you'd have like Anne
Oh, they
Doyle
were.
coming on saying the news, like you'd be like, oh,
Yeah, and
and
you
he'd,
grab the books to let on that you were studying when your parents walked in.
yes, yes,
you
we've
know.
all had them tapes, and you're trying to get the pencil into it to get back to where you had
Yeah.
just the last second of
Oh
it. You had
God.
mixtapes.
Our
Oh, was it?
kids these days will never understand. We sound about 90, like seriously.
I
Oh
know, but
God.
different technology.
Yeah,
We have to even
I
look at.
know.
Like, I was what when phones first came out. Like my little ones don't even know what buttons are on a phone now, and that's frightening. That's
Yeah.
in my
Oh, they just swipe.
32. Yeah, just swipe
Yeah,
up and
it
down
is.
like.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, it's scary. It
I
is
know. It
definitely
is.
scary.
The only
But
thing is there's so much I think there's a place for it too in ways because nowadays they do have to have a lot of kind of awareness with technology and the way things
right,
are because it is going to be part of them growing up and being so I think that there's probably a place for it like within reason, but
yeah.
too much of it, I suppose, yeah. It's like
bring
anything.
back, bring back the tape
I,
recorders.
I say that as I just hunted my two kids off the PlayStation so I could do this. Go to bed, you know. But yeah.
Don't take the Wi-Fi. We have to need it.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, nobody can be on the Wi-Fi, in case the reception's bad. But yeah, it's been a strange whole year. But I thought for the first time around town there in a long while, it's so great to feel that kind of festive feeling coming in around Bantry and seeing all the businesses opening their doors again for what
Mm,
has been a really, really, really crappy year, I'd imagine. And it's lovely to see you know, those doors open, and hopefully there'll
yeah,
be a lot more down along the line as
fingers
well. But
crossed.
it is good to see because it was pretty dark there for a while with all the closed doors. I'm sure you know that yourself. Like between the flooding in town and everything with COVID, it got pretty dark. Like,
Pretty dark. Just to let
mhm.
listeners know at home, I had a pub. It's now a sponge, so it's not really a pub anymore. It's a sponge that got flooded. But I remember I just walked in, and I remember because it was the one time I didn't take my phone to bed with me. Like I normally have the phone next to me. I'm so bad for it. And
Yeah.
I said to myself, during COVID, I wouldn't bring the phone to bed. It was going to be my change. I wouldn't bring my phone to bed with me. I'd leave it downstairs away from me. And
Hmm.
of course, everybody was ringing me, Terrence, like check out the pub. The pub's going to be flooded. The pub's going to be flooded. And yeah, it was. By the time I got down, it was just absolute carnage, complete and utter carnage
Awful.
inside there.
I saw the video. I think it was a video that you put up where I saw the just how high the water had
Yeah,
gone
it was frightening. It
in
was
there, like
literally frightening.
awful. And for places that were just trying to get back up again,
Yeah, yeah.
it must have been very, like, very, very hard.
Look, as I said to like every like, don't worry, I threw plenty of fucks into the TDs that came around the place.
Yeah.
But as I said to the news reporters, it's only going to be as hard as I make it. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
that's when I took the whole of COVID. Like going from like a DJ by trade, I've had that closed. Like you talked to me this time last year and say, hang on a second, Terrence, the pubs are going to be closed. You're not doing any weddings. You're going to be talking in a basement
Yeah.
with a fiver curtain behind you, trying to make people laugh at home. I'd be like,
Yeah.
away out of that. You know what I mean? That wouldn't
Hmm.
be me.
I know, but
But
sure, even
look,
when things
as I said
happened
with
in
COVID,
March, I
when everyone said,
remember, yeah, even in March, like I remember thinking, like, how long? Can you imagine if this went on for a few months? Like, little did we think, like, the duration of how long the whole thing with
yeah,
COVID and the
yeah, yeah,
implications for
yeah,
the businesses and the closures and everything would actually last for.
yeah. It's
Mhm. I'm
different times.
sorry, I think
It's
there's a delay
different
on my
times. And
side.
I, do you know what the
Yeah.
good thing about it is though? The one good thing that's come out of all this is, excuse me, everybody has been shopping. Everybody's been shopping
Yeah.
local, which is fantastic, and that's great. Now,
Oh, it is.
hopefully, that continues throughout the new year because, like, we support local, it'll all be good.
Yeah. And I think that
Uh,
that is it, that most people are really, really trying to support local and support the businesses because that's what's going to help them through. And this is what would be probably, their busiest time. So for the few weeks that they're
mhm.
open, to have people support them. And you know what? It's only when you really start going back into places that you see, like, Bantry has so much. And this isn't like an ad for Bantry, but I actually really do mean it. Like, it's such a beautiful town and it has so much to offer. um,
Yes.
so yeah, and actually, just to give a quick mention as well, on Sunday, the Bantry Inshore Search and Rescue are having a kind of COVID guideline carol service. So it'll be for people can come along. They'll be in their cars, weather permitting. I think it's on the square, and all proceeds will go to Bantry Inshore, yeah, Search and Rescue. So that's Sunday. I think it starts at 5. But for anybody that might want to be that is around and they might want little festive cheer, I think it'll be a really nice evening. So anyone's around, be sure to pop over to the
To help.
square. Again, I think they're really hoping that people will go by the guidelines that it is. They'll stay in their cars. They'll things like that. But it should be lovely anyway.
Yeah, no, it'll be nice. You've got a lot of support coming in here. We've got everyone saying how good looking you are. You're doing great. You're doing
Oh,
fantastic.
Malaire.
Loads of always good spirits being handed. All positive vibes coming to you. We've got hi, hello, loads of hearts.
Oh,
We've got Audrey Brian coming in saying you look amazing.
I'd
Keep it up.
Stephen warned upstairs to put in all the hearts. He'll kill me.
Share.
He's like, when are you going on? Because he was afraid that he'd be caught somewhere in the background. I'm not going to lie. Oh,
See, you
yeah.
never know what happens in these live podcasts. Like people just walk past. I'm only waiting for some
That's
time
it.
either one of my small ones come up behind the curtain and just stick their head underneath it.
Oh, that's
It'll be
it.
like your
Like,
man.
it's
You ever
always,
see that video with the kid running in to the BBC
yeah,
broadcasting one?
it
Yeah,
was
that would be
priceless.
my life.
What cracked me up was the little one that came in, and like the first one I got, and then the little one coming in with on the wheels was priceless.
See, it's live TV. You can't help it. Everything happens.
I know.
Yeah,
With
anything can
kids
happen.
anyway, there's no predicting anything. Actually, how it's great that all the everything is running okay with all the schools and everything, and I think it'll make the
Yeah.
Christmas holidays all the nicer now that they're back in routine. And
Yes.
it's great.
Homeschooling only went so far. Like you couldn't homeschooling. I couldn't even school myself. Never mind try to teach anybody else. To be fair. So like,
It was challenging, I think, all around, but um, thank God, like everything kind of has worked out, and so far so good. Touch wood that it'll continue on, and who knows?
It'll be
In
fun.
January, I know they're talking about a lot of things, restrictions again. But sure, look, we can only kind of go by week is my motto now at the moment, anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to Christmas and all of that.
We'll let future Claire and Terence worry about that. That's another problem. We ain't worried
Yeah,
about what's
yeah,
going to happen in January just yet. We're going to sort
yeah.
this out. We're going to get through the quiz at the end of it. That's what we're aiming for. It's the quiz at the end of
The
the show
quiz,
that's the
honestly,
important
turns.
part.
I
So that's
reckon
where
it's not. We should just ditch the quiz. I'll have to bring somebody on, or I need a tablet beside me to Google half of
there's no
it.
phone a friend now or ask the audience or anything like that either. So
Oh
you have
God.
to go on your own. Like
Yeah.
now, speaking
Oh
of kids and
no.
stuff like that, you teach singing as well with all loads of small little people in the world. You have loads of little people singing and stuff like that. My little one, she went to your classes. She
She
absolutely
did.
loved it, but she was a bit shy.
Yeah,
How
they
did
are.
that
I
come
think.
about? How do you teach so many children to sing?
I suppose again, to be fair, it was with Sally, Sally Ann, and like I loved it. I always wanted to work with kids, and I suppose that's what led me into working in primary schools as an SNA. But the singing side of it then was obviously from myself going to singing, and then the concerts and being involved in those. I think that the kids are just like, and I'm not just saying it, they're just a ray of sunshine. They just see, they see right through whether you're genuinely like, they see the bigger picture, I think, in things a lot of the time. And they're great, and I loved it. Like honestly, now those concerts with them. Fair enough, I probably could be a little bit on the cranky side too. So if you have like 50 little ones and you're in you do have to have a little bit of like, so I wasn't always sunshine and rainbows or like Nanny McPhee. It wasn't, but more often than not, the kids were brilliant, and they had a genuine love for singing, and they enjoyed it. And like God, I've met so many kids through the years that are just so talented, in so many ways, whether it's with singing or um, playing music. It's great to see, and I think music is so important. So it's
Yes.
great. Like at the moment, I'm not doing anything like that, as I said. But who knows down the line? Again, but for now, anyway, I'm enjoying not being busy as much as I miss the kids
That's
and I
good.
loved it. Yeah, but it was, those nights were kind of magical. Those concert nights at Christmas, they were kind of like in a way they were a huge part of Christmas for me. And I just loved it. And the
Mm,
kids were hilarious. Like you'd be in mid song and they'd be like, I need to go to the toilet, and I'd be like you'd be in the middle of the song, the audience behind you, and like 45 like little 5 or 6 year olds kind of, we're done now, we're the sweets. So you can't predict with them. And actually that's why, I don't know, did you watch it this year? Like, but the toy show is like,
yes.
you have a whole other appreciation, because with kids it's so unpredictable, you don't know what way it's going to go. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah, that's, they're great, they are really great most of the time.
They have it's the no filter thing that I absolutely love about kids. And you know what? I wish I still
I
had that
know.
to be a certain degree because when you have like kids don't they're just like I said, so black and white. They can come up with it. I remember doing a kid's birthday party, and there was there- I do this thing called a treasure hunt, but it's like musical chairs with treasure hunt. Like it's a really dangerous game, and I don't know why I ever came up with it.
Hmm.
So basically, I sort of if I have a big hall, I send or hide balloons around the place, and
Yeah.
I send the kids off to get a balloon. They have to run back and get a chair. It's very dangerous. Like I'm really surprised that parents let me play this game with them, but I've done it with adults as well at
Yeah.
Christmas parties. They seem to like it. But
Mm.
the the this one kid had this thing in his head that he just remembered where one balloon was, right? And it was the winner's balloon.
Yeah.
And he just kept staring at it for the whole time. He'd go off and get a balloon, go off. And I was like, what are you doing? He says, that's the only balloon I need to think of. And I was like, why? He says, I saw you writing on that. And I always get one balloon and write winner on it. And I always say, right, you've got to
Yeah.
find the balloon with winner on it. And the little guy had the game won even before it started. And I was gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
You're like,
what can I
damn
do?
that
You know what I mean?
balloon. I
I
know they
couldn't stop,
are.
but
They're
he
just
was
hilarious. Like,
he was
yeah,
absolutely straight up and
yeah.
just went, I'm going to win this, and this is how I'm going to win
You
it.
were hoping to get
And
about
see,
15 or 20 minutes of quietness out of it, like, and then he finds the winning balloon.
And yet that didn't work. It didn't work. So now I have to think
No,
like a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old and try and figure out different ways
yeah,
of hiding balloons around the place to sort of get
yeah,
myself
they're
through it
brilliant
as
though.
yeah, they are good fun. They are
They
good fun.
really
And
are.
like the Toy Show this year had a really good sort of feel to it. It was actually, as people may know me, I'm not the biggest of Ryan Tuberty's fans by any means. I think he's a bit of a langer, but look, people probably call me that every day as well. But I felt this year he was just a little bit better than he ever was
Oh God,
before.
I
I
loved it.
genuinely did. Yeah, I did
I
too.
loved it. Yeah, I'm a fan. Like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. I just think that, like, he seems very genuine. Where now, like, I know maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the man, but like, he does just. I think a lot of people prefer him nearly on radio though. Than when he interviews, he can be
Yes.
maybe a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
I suppose TV is a little bit stiffer. It's a bit harder, but on radio, he's very. I do like listening to him. But I thought this year's for me, I thought this year was one of the better years with the toy show. 'Cause sure, I couldn't name half, I don't know, any of the toys really, because there was so little. And it was just about the kids, and he gave them time, and no one was rushed. It was really nice.
Yeah,
Now, he didn't give me any
yeah.
tickets
No,
for the
it
virtual
was very.
audience, so that loses points on his part. But
We we'll get into Ryan Tuberty. Don't worry, we will definitely get into Ryan Tuberty as well. We have to talk about your work with Bantry Hospice. You've been a long member of that. You've been Jesus. I don't even remember the last time I didn't see you part of Bantry Hospice. You've been a while with Bantry Hospice, haven't you?
yeah, I have. Like, they're amazing. And I think the main thing that's so wonderful about Bantry Hospice is just that every euro that's raised by the community,
Hmm.
it stays in the area, and excuse me,
Hmm.
there's no huge costs going out. With a lot of
Hmm.
charities, there are a lot of admin, and I think that ROX, they do amazing work for Bantry Hospice to allow us for the money to be spent where it's needed the most. And they're an amazing committee.
Yes.
Like, honestly, I'm not just saying that. We're great friends, um, and they're
Yes.
wonderful people. And I suppose who really would stand out for me is Pat Morrissey. I don't know,
I
would you know
know.
him well, but he's just an absolute gentleman. And um, what I love is that everything is so transparent with regard the money that
Yeah.
comes in and goes out, and where it gets to. It gets to where it needs to go. um,
Yes.
and I suppose, without being too morbid about it, um, for a lot of families, the fear of going home when they're palliative is lessened now with
Mhm.
regard night nursing and all of those things that are available to people. That means an awful lot, and I think that
Yes.
it's wonderful to think that the money that's raised by everybody, because it is the community that raises the money to allow us to
Mhm.
help people. Um, it
Yes.
does things like that, and it's great. So yeah, I love it. I love being a part of it, and the work that they do is great work. They're a lovely,
Didn't
lovely bunch of people.
they hit a massive milestone there. I'm going to get this wrong now, but isn't there's a certain they hit some milestone there. Was it last year about money raised? They were only I'm going to definitely get this wrong because I only just thought
No,
of it.
you're probably
So I
not, but
probably
I probably don't know, so I'll be mortified. I'll be like,
they
oh
hit
Lord, what is it? What's the milestone?
they hit some
No, there
milestone
was a
with the amount of money raised, wasn't there?
yeah, there was. Now, I don't know the exact figure from the start because I wasn't with them at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but there's the amount of money that's been raised has been phenomenal, and actually the
yes,
AGM is coming up in a few weeks' time, and that's where again the outgoings, I suppose, as to where the money goes. I
yeah,
think recently there was, and when I say recently, I mean probably in the last maybe year and a half. I could be wrong on that in the time, but there was
yeah,
something called the hardship fund that was set up. So that's a new enough thing to Bantry Hospice,
yeah,
whereby money would be allocated to a family where somebody was um, that had cancer in the household, where financially there might be struggles, which
yes.
for a lot of families there would be. And I think it was 75,000 has been paid out so far to different families that have availed of that. Um,
Yes.
and then a
Very
huge
good.
thing as well that would be an uptake would be again the palliative care nurses. So somebody
Mhm.
that may be at home and want to be at home will have a nurse come in and those kind of things. So that AGM is open to the public as well. And keep an eye on the Bantry Hospice page because a link will be shared there for anyone that wants to join and just to find out a little bit more as to where
What's
their
it?
money goes.
Yeah, definitely. It's a
You
brilliant,
know,
absolutely brilliant, brilliant. Because where's Damien when we need him? Normally, Damien pops up on my feed
Damien should be
somewhere.
on here. Like I was waiting for it. A
He's
little,
he's too busy
but no.
marrying people. He's too busy marrying people
Yeah,
around the
that's
country
it.
at the
Jeez, he's
moment.
flying with that. It's great. Fair play to him.
What
Brilliant.
a change
And
of
it's great
careers he's
that
had.
people are still out. Are you doing weddings at the moment yourself or?
Like I said, I have a wedding this weekend. I've lost like almost 100% of the weddings have gone this year. Luckily enough, they have been put forward to 2021, 2022.
Hmm.
But the problem is you've already had the bookings for 2021, 2022. And
Yeah,
you're kind of saying, well, I can't, like, you can't be in two places at once. But it's got to the stage now where we're taking the bookings, but me personally taking the bookings, but not even taking deposits because it's like
I know.
you can't predict it. Like we've no idea. Now
Hmm.
I do have a wedding this weekend. I'm looking forward to it, but like I said, I'm absolutely shitting a brick doing it because I haven't done a wedding since February, and I haven't done
Yeah,
anything professional in quite a while. So I'm going, I wonder how
I
it'll
know.
sound and how
Even the
stuff like that.
playlists, like adding the songs.
Do you know, does
But
that song still
it's
work,
lovely though
or
that
is that?
people are still, yeah, family weddings, I suppose, have become huge now with like obviously the smaller numbers and things. But
Yeah, definitely. But there's
hmm,
only I think now for weddings you can only have like 50 maybe at it,
yeah,
and that's including the hotel staff as well. So like you
yeah,
might only get 20 or 30 at it, like, which is strange, very
yeah, it
strange.
would. But I suppose that for people that have done that, might make it even more special. Now I know like it's very hard to be cutting numbers and not having who you want there. You might want more, obviously more numbers, but suppose if there's no real finish line for people at the start of 2020 when they didn't know when to rebook for or whatever, you can see
Yeah,
how they would have gone ahead with a small intimate wedding.
yeah, yeah. I'd get
Hmm.
married tomorrow. I only have about 6 or 7 people I'd invite
Oh,
anyway.
by
But
the way, oh my God, sorry, congratulations
oh shit, yeah.
to you and Aoife. Jeez, lads, I can't believe. Huge congratulations to the two of you. I'm
Thank you.
delighted for you.
No,
Great
thank you
news.
very much. I was very lucky, a very lucky man in a house full of women. I'm a very lucky man, to be fair to me.
Ah,
But yeah,
and
no,
brilliant. Good news is always great.
yeah, it is. She has a massive family, so like, I'd be delighted to get married in lockdown. It'd be a very cheap wedding, and
Yeah,
I'd only get married for a couple of weeks just to make sure the numbers are low, because
yeah,
between sort of her family and like it'll be huge. Oh god,
yeah. You'll just have to
yeah,
embrace it.
yeah,
Just go
I
with
will.
it. Just remember where to send all the invites out to all of us, like, so we get a shindig out of
Just send
it.
them to everybody. It'll be a text message
Yeah,
sent
yeah,
out, or a Facebook. And
yeah,
you know what? I'll just do a podcast and just welcome everybody. Look, this is where it's going to be. This is the time it's going to be at. If you want to
yeah,
show
yeah.
up, you
Be
can show
there.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, God willing, we'll make it.
Oh,
You
great.
never know
No,
with
it's great.
weddings. Weddings,
Congratulations.
thank you. Weddings in this day and age now can go either way. You know, it can, like
Oh,
I
they
said, I
can.
know plenty of people this year that didn't book. So you can't book it. You just sort of have to wait and see
Yeah,
what happens.
that's
That's
it.
that's where we're
Hopefully,
kind
the
of
the finish line is in sight now. I really hope so, and won't get into the whole vaccine debate because I'll be lynched because everyone has their opinion on it. But I do think that you know, for me personally, the talks of the vaccine are fantastic, and it's giving people maybe a little
yeah.
bit of hope. I won't say any more because I'm terrified of people going no. It's a personal thing.
I'm
But
looking at it this
anyway,
way. I'm looking at it this way. At least it was an Irish person that was the first one to be tried with it anyway. So we have the
I'll
Irish
be
flag
watching
fighters
her
there.
now very closely for the next few weeks.
Yeah, she might
Yeah.
disappear rapidly. That could be the problem.
Oh
We might
God.
never find them. But no,
Well,
look,
I
every
suppose
news.
we're lucky. Yeah, I do. I trust our doctors, and I'm not just saying that. Like I really do, and I think that I'd be listening to them as well as to like whether it's safe or not, more than the chats with people somewhere going, "Don't get it" or whatever. Like I'll just, you have to go by the real thing of it. So
The real
hopefully,
deal.
anyway, it'll all be fine. Won't grow a second
Well,
head or something.
everybody everybody in lockdown has become some COVID-19 like diagnostic genius type
Yeah,
thing where as soon as you see it on Facebook, it has to be true. You know what I mean? And oh,
yeah,
I won't
that's
be
it.
getting
There's a
any
lot of
because
scaremongering as well.
yeah,
You
because
know.
there's a microchip in it. What's his name? Bill Gates wants to control the world from this tiny microchip that's going to be implanted in your head.
Oh Lord.
Look, I'm not
Yeah.
even going to go in there. But yeah,
No,
everybody has an opinion.
that's it.
Whether it be good or bad, I don't
Yeah,
know, but everybody has an
I
opinion.
know.
So, right, we're going to get
It's
on to
true.
some part of your life now where we're going through right now. Like we said, we're going to live in the moment and we're going to talk some bit about your life that you're going through, your amazing journey. How did you manage? Like I've been roaring and shouting at Ryan Tuberty for years and he's never wanted me on his show. So how did you
Yeah.
manage to break break shoulders or conversation with the infamous Ryan Tuberty?
There had been a woman on, I'd say maybe the week that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I remember I listened in
Mhm,
and I sent in an email, I suppose it was about a week afterwards, to the show. And then
mhm.
one of their researchers contacted me because they were doing a segment on I think, was it, I could be wrong, but was it coming up to October Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or there was something that they were planning on doing anyway. And then I was kind of chatting back and forth with one of the researchers for the show, and then they asked me would I be interested in just coming on having a chat with him. And I remember thinking, oh my god, like what if I just say something really stupid or get, because it was very early on into when I had been told I had cancer. um and I was like, oh Lord, like what if I get
Yeah.
upset, or and I didn't want it to be like that. I did not want it to be a kind of a like, oh God help us type interview. um so it wasn't at all. He was just so lovely. And he even like, I had told the lads, my two boys, that I was doing an interview with him in the morning. And Michael, my younger fella, was like, "Ma'am, can I stay home?"
Mhm.
Like, and I said, "No, you're going to school." And I must have mentioned it to the researcher before I went on. And then after the interview, Ryan Tuberty sent a little video to Michael and
Yeah.
Cian just for them, and I just thought that was really sweet to do. That was really nice. So um, it
Fair
was
play.
very easy to chat to him. He was lovely, and I think, yeah. It was only when I listened back to it that I remembered a lot of what I had said, because it goes by in a like a haze. Um,
Yeah.
so overall, I think what I wanted to get across, I hope anyway, that it came across well. And yeah, he was lovely, very nice man. I haven't been
See
invited up,
that
like I said, now for any I was waiting on the Late Late Show tickets, but nothing came. We'll wait. We'll wait. I won't give up the day job just yet. Yeah.
I thought there was a time there where he was going to go, and there's one for everybody in the audience of tickets that you could turn up. As I was only hoping
Yeah,
for
I
that because
know.
you might.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. It was lovely. And um, overall, the kind of things that he asked me, I felt I was very comfortable answering them. It didn't feel, I wasn't nervous too much once we started chatting. It was just easy after that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a small
Mhm.
conversation, and I heard it was like
Mm.
even to me, like I said 1,000 times, an idiot like myself, it was brilliant and fair play to you for doing it.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
do you think it helps? Do you know talking about it? Do you think that helps with your journey and stuff like that? Do you think like just
Um,
being as open as possible, like to people, letting them know what's going on and stuff like that? Do you think that
I
helps with
think
your journey?
so. I do. Yeah, I do. I think that like I I suppose if I thought that somebody that maybe was listening at the time was going through a similar thing, or not even, maybe hadn't even been into the doctor yet, but might have noticed some changes themselves, and if hearing an interview or hearing anything might make somebody go, do you know what, I'm not going to hold off on that. I'm going to go get whatever might be raising alarm bells for them checked. And it is
Yeah.
so important, like for any of us, women, men, we're great at putting things on the long finger and kind of
Yeah.
saying, look, but my main thing is like, there is no formula. So you hear a lot about different types of cancers, oh, is it in the family? Or I suppose that I'm going to be very honest here with me, like, was there a lump? Like, there doesn't have to
Yeah.
be. There doesn't have to be anything. It
Mm.
just changes where the best possible bit of advice I can give anybody is just go to your GP and they'll take it from there, because I'm not a doctor. I have no idea how or whether it's something that is of concern or not, but your GP will. And like for
Yeah.
me, from the moment I went to my doctor, Dr. Lynch, Joan Lynch, everything was handled like really quickly. Everything moved really quickly, and I'm just very grateful for that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I suppose I was on a kind of a roller coaster. I'm still on it. There's no getting off. I just have to get through it. So
Yeah.
um, it's yeah, and nobody wants to be. I think a woman that I was chatting to lately kind of summed it up when she said, "None of us want to be a part of this club, but we are." So for anybody that is going, is going through cancer, I'd love to say I've been positive every day but I haven't. And um,
Yeah.
more often than not, I try to be as much as I can, but sometimes it's overwhelming and it's hard. But between
Mhm.
Steve and my lads have just been hilarious with some of the things they've come out with about like honestly, the wigs or the whatever, like, and that's the way I want it to be. I don't want it to be this really heavy thing that we're shushing when they come into a room. So we don't talk about it all the time. Like they've their
Yeah.
normal lives. But my family and my sisters and my mom and my dad and my friends like have really got me through the days where I felt overwhelmed, and I haven't felt like
Yeah.
I know who's looking back at me in the mirror. It's fine, like, and I'll be honest, even
Yeah.
tonight, put makeup on, try all those things are in my head, of, oh God, I don't want to look thick. But the reality is when you don't have the makeup on and you see yourself sometimes, that's hard. Um,
Mm.
but overall, I think I'm doing okay. And I think that,
I think you're doing an absolute
I,
fabulous job.
thank you. Thank you.
Don't ever think that you're not doing
Um,
a great job, because even like I said, you were one of my guests that I wanted to get on this show ages and ages and ages ago, just to talk to you about your singing. And
mhm.
now that you're even just willing to come on to this, I was blown away by just you even wanting to come on with me here. So you're
Oh,
doing an amazing
stop.
job. So don't ever think that
Yeah,
you're not doing an amazing job. You've got everybody coming in here.
yeah.
We've got Connolly saying, "Well done, Claire." We have Jamarie
Oh.
coming in saying to us, "You Phil and Holly." Maybe that could be a career next year. We've launched a TV show. We do it in the
Yeah,
Maritime Hotel or somewhere like
I
that,
know, yeah. Oh
in the
Lord.
library in the Maritime
Yeah,
Hotel.
I know.
No, look,
Yeah.
it's fantastic, and hats off to you in fairness, because you're willing to talk about it.
Mhm,
And like you said, if anybody's listening at all, just go to it. And I can't imagine what it was like when you got the news. Like it must be
mhm.
scary. It must be
I
absolutely
think now
frightening,
I look
because
back and I don't even really remember it. Like I
mm,
honestly think it feels so long ago compared to where I feel
yeah,
like I'm at now. But but it's only a few months. Like it was September, and God, we weren't long back at school, but um, it feels like a long time ago in ways from kind of what's changed and just
yeah,
getting through the chemo, I suppose, is probably what I found the hardest. um but for anybody listening, like, it's amazing to think of so many of the things that are available to us that we might not know anything about.
hmm,
So for a lot of men, there are tests that they can avail of for very common types of cancers, that
yeah.
especially for men over 40, that it is worth it. And I don't want this to be like a morbid, oh Jesus, your one is on about cancer again. Like, I don't, but I just
No,
think that
you're
it's
not.
so important to like
You're not. You're
have
not.
those
Don't worry.
conversations with the people in our lives. Like,
Yeah.
have you
Yeah. Yeah.
have you ever looked into getting that test done because you're over 40, or it may be in your family, or it may not be in your family, or just for whatever reason that we should be checking
Mm.
ourselves more and asking those questions when we go into our GPs and saying, is there something that I should be doing here? Or, for me, definitely, I didn't wait. So when I found the lump, I went to the GP very quickly, and she was fantastic, like I said, and everything moved on from
Mm.
there so fast that maybe my head was spinning a little bit. But that being said, I'm getting there, and like before I know it, I'll be done with my chemo, which I can't wait for. Um, but I'm also very
Oh
conscious
my
of people
goodness.
maybe that might be starting out. And the thing is,
Mm.
we are like, cancer is tough, but we're tough, you know, and we're tougher than we
Yeah. Yeah.
ever could imagine. And for
Yeah.
everything that it takes away from you, um, you are given some pretty beautiful moments from it. And I know that must sound ridiculous, but
It doesn't.
you're you're
It
wrapped
really
up
doesn't.
in kind of like a bubble of love that you might never really have experienced, whether it's with your parents or whomever, where I don't come off the phone from them now without us telling each other like love you or whatever, and everything is just a little bit fuzzy and warmer and lovely, like because you've been given a kind of a really horrible card in ways, but also there's some beautiful things to come out of it as well, if that makes sense. I don't really know any other way of saying it.
Of course it is. No, look,
Yeah.
it's like I said, you're doing an amazing job, and to have any positive outlook on it, and to be able to talk about it, is fair play to you. Absolutely, like the comments are coming
Hmm.
in. Well done. You've got Patricia Hurley coming in saying, "Such a strong and amazing Brenda." We've got Brenda. Hey, Brenda. She's saying,
Hi
"Fab,
everyone.
well done, guys." You got Gillian McCarthy saying, "You're fab, Claire." Everybody's coming in.
Oh,
You've got Linda saying, "Well done, Claire." Neil is saying, "Keep up the good work." So you've got might be just virtual right now, but you've got loads of positive energy and loads of love coming your way. So you're very, very
oh.
brave for doing this. And like, thank you for making the time for this. I really, really appreciate it. And honestly, I really do
Thank you.
appreciate
No,
it.
I'm.
Um, and it's a funny thing, like you said there halfway through it. Do you think, like we were saying there with the granny wave and such like that, us Irish people, we never really want to care too much about ourselves because there's something about it. Oh, sure, look at him, he gets his hair cut, or look at, do you know, there's a vanity, there's a stigma about minding yourself in Ireland that is like, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
Like the
I
Americans go
suppose.
get their
Yeah,
big and grown toenails,
yeah. I
so like
think
we should just
we're
go to the
we.
doctor and get checked out.
Yeah, that is exactly it. I think I do know what you're saying, like, because it's you'd nearly want to not have a heartbeat to say you're going to go to the doctor sometimes for some people. It's like it has to be pretty bad to go, I'm going to, oh, geez, I think I might need to go to the doctor there. But there, you'll never ever hear a doctor saying, God, that person shouldn't have bothered coming in. They're
Yeah,
not. They're,
yeah,
they're there to help us, and they're there to, for any reason at all, if there's something that's bothering us, they're delighted to see us coming in the door. And they're from my experience anyway, like I said, we're very blessed with the doctors we have here in the area. So
yeah,
self care
yeah,
is so important. And outside of the obvious that I'm talking about tonight, for a lot of people, 2020 as well challenged people mentally. Um,
yes,
and it was a very lonely, isolating time for some people.
mhm,
And I think that's very important as well, is that for people that maybe weren't, for anyone, male, female, whatever, that, were struggling with things like that. Again, that's another reason to just get in and have that chat with your
yeah,
doctor, because there's amazing um, help that's out there nowadays, and there is no stigma or shame in not feeling great sometimes
yeah,
and reaching out and
definitely,
looking for that help.
yeah,
So yeah, it's been a tough year in lots of ways for people. So
yeah,
geez, I sound like an
definitely,
advert for doctors, but like, but I just think that, but it's just, yeah, it's important to check in on ourselves, whether it's our health
yeah.
or for whatever reason, just to see how we're doing, and just pause and take a moment to see how we're getting on. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And like it is, and I said this a couple of minutes ago. It's such an Irish thing to turn around and say, "Hold on, my arm is hanging off there." It's grand though. I'll just put some
Yeah,
sellotape around it, and it'll be fine
it
by
is. Yeah,
tomorrow. If
seven
it
up,
still hurts
seven
next
up,
week, I
flat
might go
seven
to the
up.
doctor. Yeah, yeah.
You know.
My dad has this cure for everything. It's a bath in an early night. Right, like I've had my head split open. A bath in an early night, you'll be fine in the morning, Terence.
Yeah,
Just have a
be
bath in an
grand.
early night. That's his
Yeah,
cure for absolute everything. Like broken leg,
yeah,
bath in an early night, Terence. You'll be 100% my
yeah.
lad. It's
I know,
bonkers.
but it's
Like, you know,
amazing how
it's
much
still,
like of our parents wear off on us as well because like
yeah,
I see it sometimes in me if you know the way if you're like if one of your kids says like I'm sick and with anyone else's child
yeah,
you'd be like oh God is she sick is he sick I hope she's all right and with my own get in the car you're fine you know there's not even a temperature you're grand you know
here's here's a
it's
bag. You
funny.
puking that in the way to school. You're fine. You'll be grand.
Yeah, but like my mom would have been like, you know, there was six of us, like, and if we said we were sick, she'd be kind of letting you know what you wouldn't be doing for the day. You're not watching television. You're not getting out of bed. Like it was like you're just that's it. Get in, get in. I'd be there putting up the little lamp up to my head to make myself hotter to try to get a day off school, like when we were little, you know. Um, but
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's funny how they were. You in all the things that I remember that she would say where I might give an eye roll. I do them now with my own lads. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I think you know what you're an Irish parent when you actually start taking account of how long the heating has been on during the day. That's how
Oh
you
yeah,
know
the
you're an
feel.
Irish parent. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
the immersion.
it
I
is
love the immersion.
the immersion. The immersion. The days. I always remember. Was it Tommy Tiernan used to have this sketch on the immersion and or Des Bishop? I can't remember which one, but it was like so true. The reason it was so funny was because it was so true. It was as
Yeah,
if the
yeah,
world was going to end if the immersion was left on longer than what it would kind of mildly heat the water. You know,
yeah. It
it
just
really was.
can't be cold. Like you know what I mean. The icicles have to be
Yeah,
gone out of the shower just so you could have a shower. Yeah, I didn't have that
yeah,
when I
yeah.
was growing up. I had cold water.
I know.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
as my grandfather says now, he's what? He's 80. I'm gonna get this wrong now. So anyone who's watching, tell him Terrence got his age wrong. I think he's 84. I
Yeah.
think 85, maybe 84. He used to say to me when he was small that he'd have to walk to school uphill both ways, and like in my head, that was stuck in my head for ages. I was like, how can you walk uphill both ways? Had to walk
Yeah.
uphill going home and had to walk uphill going back. I was going, what type
Hmm.
of school is he there? Like, do you know what I mean? But it's how
Yeah.
them things stick in your head from your parents telling you
It does.
how
The
hard
funny
they had it
stories,
and how
like,
easy you have.
yeah. And I think
It
as
is
well
it is
now, when you
absolutely
think of
amazing.
it is, but like older people, you know, they have such great stories to tell, like, but for a lot of older people, the kind of like those couple of pints maybe or you know glass of whiskey or whatever in a pub maybe after mass on a Saturday that was their only outlet
Yeah,
for a lot of older
yeah,
people
yeah,
and it's very
yeah,
sad that I suppose you know I think there probably is a lot of older people now that aren't actually seeing anybody in the week because
yeah.
that was their social
Social gathering. Yeah,
aspects to yeah so you
yeah,
know you'd be mindful as well that like it's just a tough time for people in
for
between
everybody.
nursing homes and hospitals and Christmas, I always think is such a beautiful time, but it can be beautifully lonely as well, you know, because if
Yeah,
everything is good, it's great. But for a lot of people that have somebody sick or in hospital, again, I'm gone very morbid. Jesus, lads, at the beginning out. Um, but it can be a very, very lonely time. And while the
yeah.
staff are doing their best, it must be very, very difficult in ways. Yeah, and I think that
It's
the pubs
isn't it
being
amazing how
closed is
24 hours can change? Here's the delay now again. Isn't it amazing how 24 hours can change everything though? Oh, we're frozen. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, with West Cork technology and West Cork broadband. She might just click back in there now in a second. When she looks back on this live, she's going to be giving out the way it's frozen. Ah, there we are. We back? Can you hear me?
there. We're back. Sorry about that. I don't know, was
We're
that
back.
on my side? I'll just say it was on your side.
I was up should have blame Terrence for everything anyway. I'm well used to it at
Yeah,
this stage. But I see I've forgotten what I was saying now. Oh yeah, I was saying the fact that when you look back on this now, you're going to see your face posed in such a position where you're going to be like, "Oh
Oh
God,
God,
how did my face
we'll
pose
just
again?"
fast forward, fast forward. Yeah, yeah.
But come here, you got a shout out during. Well, was it this week or last week? Imelda May reached out. She saw one of your
She
absolutely
did.
amazing songs. That was one of the best things I've ever seen on Facebook. That song that you did. It
Oh,
was beautifully brilliant.
thank you. Yeah. No, she like I still was like because I honestly I'm not just saying it like I love Imelda May. Like I think she's um just amazing, but also really down to earth. I think that's a huge draw as well. Is that she just seems really personable and lovely and grounded and just a lovely person. So I had put up a video, just a short video on my Facebook page. And I suppose the song, the words in the song meant an awful lot to me. It was from Waitress the musical. It's called "She Used to Be Mine."
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't, you know, I suppose, yeah, I didn't I often would share songs or put up videos or whatever, you know. Um, but she shared it on her Facebook herself, on her own page and on her Instagram. And then we were messaging kind of backwards and forwards on Instagram. And we're still messaging away now, and it's lovely. And again, you know, I think what was lovely was that she said, like it was obvious from the video that I was kind of sharing it from, kind of coming out the other side, hopefully, of of what I'm going through at the moment. But what was lovely was she said, even if that wasn't the case at all, I would have wanted to share it because I just loved the song, and that meant a lot to me. You know, that she was actually just genuinely enjoying my singing, like, you know. So it was a bit of a pinch moment. Um,
Twist.
and yeah, it was lovely, really lovely of her. Like, I'd be laughing with the girls, like with my friends. They're like, "Imelda, your new best
No,
friend,"
it's
but like, sure, look, there's no fear there. You know,
no, it is. It's
yeah.
like it's I watched it again just before we came on live, and I watched it when you first released it a couple of weeks ago, and it's very powerful, and like it seems, and like you can tell just from even watching it that it means something to you, and I think that's what comes across to the likes of me or anybody else watching, that it was, you know, it really means a lot to you that the song, the words meant so much to you. It was sung with such passion and such care. It came across, and it was beautiful. It was very very powerful, and again, hats off to that,
Oh,
because
thank you,
that was amazing. So like
thank
everything
you. Yeah,
you're doing it absolutely amazingly, and I can't praise you enough for it, and I can't praise you and thank you enough for
no,
coming on, because
thank you. No,
like
geez, I'm
we just
delighted.
talked for an hour. Like I said,
I know I don't even know where
you're
the time
fine,
went. I hope I haven't bored everybody listening. But for anyone that did come on as well, just say thanks. I can't see anyone on this because of what I'm like, but for it was just, you know, it's great, it's lovely to just be able to chat in a nice and open way about things without it being, and I think I said that to you, I never wanted to come across kind of in a negative way, or I'm just conscious of people that, you know, are going
no,
through stuff themselves. So it's overall,
you
it's
have
just lovely
no.
to be able to chat.
No, no, you've got so much positive vibes coming your way. Sinead Lade is coming in saying, great interview. Claire, you're such a positive person. Donna O'Connor's coming in, loads of hearts. Like, I've never seen as many hearts in the comment section. So you're getting
Oh,
loads of love. So we will leave it up for the night and you can see everybody. And if anyone's watching this and you've missed some of it and you want to see it again, hopefully, God willing, we'll have it, if the internet doesn't get shut down in the meantime, back up on our YouTube station Monday, 6 o'clock. That's when all the new podcasts come out. So hopefully Monday we'll send a link and we'll send everything as well. But Claire, we're at that moment. We're at that
yeah,
deciding moment
thank
of the
you.
podcast
Oh God, I
where
forgot the
it
quiz.
comes.
Jesus, I thought we were wrapping up, and I was like, thanks a million turns. It was great, and then I second forgot the quiz.
You've got
Oh
the
Lord,
quiz time, right? So you've got
can I
15
skip
seconds
any
now
of
to
it?
get
No,
yourself
can I say
ready.
pass?
No, no,
All right, okay.
have to name them all. You've got 15 seconds now before you have 30 seconds of the maddest 30 seconds of your life. It's the
All
cabin
right, okay.
fever podcast quiz, right?
This is serious business.
Concentration. No 50-50. Phone a friend or ask the audience. Right. Here we go. So phone call or text message.
Text message.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh God, I was saying this to you. I'd love for it to be something really deep and stuff, but I'm about as deep as a puddle. It's probably Love Actually or The Bodyguard or something. Yeah, yeah, some kind of cheesiness
McDonald's or
like that.
Burger King?
McDonald's. To be honest, as I watch my figures so much, I have not tasted either. I joke. I joke. McDonald's. McDonald's probably.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
Is that in my head? I'm like a 9, and my husband would say about a 2.5.
The strangest place you've made a phone call or sent a text?
God, oh, this is a hard one. Where now would be the strangest place? Um, I honestly can't
Sure,
think. Like, sure,
you've made a
I
phone
kind
call
of
on top of the
sit.
altar, I'm sure, at this stage. Have to have sent a text message on top of the altar or somewhere like that.
I
On
probably have if we were
stage.
singing for weddings through the years or whatever. I probably have, yeah, but it's nothing too exciting. I'd say there. Like I kind of text in my sitting room. It's very
Most of the
boring,
answers are
but
so
it's not.
toilet.
I know I'm very, very
Uh, a,
boring.
per-
No, not.
a person you'd like to have dinner with, dead or alive?
I would. Okay, Whitney Houston.
Oh, that's a new one. That's a
Yeah,
serious one. I like that one. This is the
yeah.
most topical question that we get. Ketchup in the fridge or outside the fridge?
Outside.
To live forever or to have the power of invisibility?
That's an awful one. Hang on. I would say I probably would. No, I don't want to live forever. The power of invisibility.
You have some
That'd
fun
be
with
kind
that.
of juicy. Like you
Uh,
could, you could. Yeah.
do you eat soup or drink it?
You drink soup. Do you?
And what is the one
Gee.
thing that annoys you the most in the world?
When people break their knuckles, the clicky sound. I think that's what it is. Anyway, I hate it. It actually hurts my soul. Um, it, it does. I didn't do too badly. Is that the end of it?
That's it. That's the podcast
Jesus,
wrap.
and there was no what's the capital of Iceland. I was looking up all the capitals before I came on tonight. Reykjavik. Sorry, oh please God, let that be it. Um, but
No, that
yeah,
was it. That's the quiz. Thank you
yeah,
so much. I
that was
really
great.
appreciate you doing this.
And
See, I
thank you
told
for
you.
having me on. And just again, congratulations to you and Aoife. And I'm wishing you a
Thank
really happy, healthy Christmas. And to everybody listening in, well, everybody, I don't know how many people are there, but to anyone, happy Christmas to you all too. And here's to a mighty 2021.
Amen to that. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to say a big, big thank you to Claire. She was absolutely amazing. Coming on the show, did everything she was supposed to. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning our way. If you've only joined in and you missed it, you missed great crack, you missed great fun. But hopefully, we will have everything up on our YouTube station by next Monday. Fingers crossed. As always, guys, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to you guys for tuning our way. And as always, guys, don't forget to tell somebody you love them. From everybody here, thank
Frozen in this moment, the last, and I know it. Think about the winners with hands with the coldest. Think about hand out, shit, you're still growing. Think about the world, how we didn't even notice. We became